very good morning to all of you. Revered Vice Chancellor of Mizoram University, Professor Dibakar Chandra Deka ji, Founder and Director of Webcom India Private Limited, a leading software company in Northeast India, Mrs. Atreeye Borooah Thekedath ji, Dean of the School of Economics, Management and Information Science, and my own colleague in the Department of Commerce, Professor Bhartendu Singh, Dr. Lalnunmawii, the coordinator of this workshop, learned colleagues, invitees, and dear student friends. I do feel privileged and honored to stand before you for two reasons. One, because of the gracious presence of our new Vice Chancellor with us, who took charge as the fifth Vice Chancellor of our university just a week ago. Once again, I take this opportunity to thank our beloved Vice Chancellor for choosing Mizoram University, and we are looking forward to the vision and success that you could bring to Mizoram University as a team. So here we have students from the commerce students from colleges also we have. So I request all the participants to give a big applause to our new Vice Chancellor, Professor Deka ji. Mrs. Atreye's inspirational presence is with us today. Our profile resembles the profile of N.R. Narayana Murthy, who is a role model for young people even today. Because N.R. Narayana Murthy had studied his engineering in India, especially in Karnataka, and who served an American company after his higher education in the US, and who had opted to be an entrepreneur in Bangalore in 1980s by founding Infosys. And I would like to compare his profile with that of Mrs. Atreeye ji. And she, after completing her BTech in computer engineering in Karnataka, did her MBA in Australia. Then after working at HP, a multinational giant in Singapore, she wanted to quit her comfort zone, and she had quit her coveted job and chose to be an entrepreneur in her home state, Assam. That led to the birth of Webcom India in 1999. As a founder, as managing director, and as a director, she has been traveling herself in the path of entrepreneurship. In the process, she has been enriching the lives of different stakeholders and also some of the people who became her co-travelers. And she has been associated with so many, well-known organizations like Apollo Hospitals and also well-known institutions like IITs and IIMs throughout the country. And of different roles played by her in this process, what amused me more is her passion to meet, interact, and inspire young minds like those who are present here as part of Global Mentoring Partnership Program. In fact, we try to invite one inspirational personality like her, but we found it very difficult because nowadays people are ready to participate online, but physically going to Mizoram, it's very difficult to get people of her stature. But I think when we approached the CII, then, they didn't find much difficulty to get the acceptance. Thank you so much, and we are so grateful to you, ma'am. Then, that in fact made her to accept our request to be part of this workshop. So I request the participants to give her a big applause. A few words about the Department of Commerce, Mizoram University as head of the department. And this is one of 41 academic departments in this grade A university re-accredited by NAC in 2019 under 10 schools of studies. In addition to master's and PhD programs in commerce, the department is running an MBA Executive Development Program, EDP, exclusively for the benefit of the officers of Mizoram Rural Bank, a public sector undertaking. One of the faculty of the department, Professor Lalrinchhana, is taking care of DST-sponsored incubation center as director, and our incubation center is instrumental in nurturing and supporting some successful incubators in the state, including a venture which won a national recognition. So is my colleague, please raise your hand, Professor Lalrinchhana. This incubation center belongs to entire Mizoram University, not only just Commerce Department. And this is a pride of our state, incubation center under his leadership. Another faculty member, Dr. Rama Ramaswamy, is running a BWork program in handloom weaver under NSQF, National Skill Qualification Framework. And about the theme of workshop, I just want to share some of my ideas. Under NEP, the National Education Policy, the department has been offering some courses on entrepreneurship development, even for the students of other departments in the campus, such as physics, food technology, mathematics, and Hindi. At times, as a teacher of entrepreneurship, I wonder myself by thinking, is it possible to create entrepreneurs by merely teaching a few papers in the classroom? On the other hand, some of the statistics relating to our economy, relating to our country, which has surpassed China as the most populous country, is mind-boggling. To quote some data, 42% of Indians are of below 25 years of age. Every year, 2.5 crore young people are entering into job market in our country. However, only 70 lakh people are getting decent jobs, which is not even one-third of our young population who have been graduating every year. The most exciting thing about entrepreneurship is its capacity to create jobs. High-performance entrepreneurs like Mrs. Atreeye create great wealth, not just for themselves, but for others. Entrepreneurs drive innovation. Innovation never comes from very large and established firms. Entrepreneurship can be deeply rewarding simply as a journey itself, which can give you the highest sense of accomplishment. Last but not least, the world has become an entrepreneur-friendly place like never before. There is no government in the world today that says we do not want peace and prosperity and we do not want entrepreneurs. But we all know that the exercise is fraught with great risk of failure. That is why this workshop has been planned on unusual theme, failure in business. In other words, success in progress in business. The title which was coined by my colleague, Professor Lalrinchhana. In addition to Mrs. Atreeye, 3 entrepreneurs, local successful entrepreneurs, though they had their own failure story behind them, and they are going to engage the participants. They are going to share their success or failure stories with our young participants. They are Pu Lalrinchhana, Pu Vanlalrema, and Pu Lalrema. They will share their less known experiences and how did they handle their setbacks and disappointments in their journey. Further, 2 faculty members from colleges, commerce colleges, Miss Casey Malsawmtluangi and Miss Ralte, Lalnunmawii Ralte, and they would handle a session on design thinking. Now I will take a pause and may I request my colleague and the Dean of the school, Professor Bhartendu Singh, to welcome, to give his formal welcoming address and to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This is a privilege to welcome dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Before welcoming a brief about the program, why we choose failure in business, why not success? Everyone praises the rising sun, but we should not forget that the other side also exists. If you take motivation only by success, uh, it is difficult to really get success because entrepreneurship is not a bed of roses. You have to see the other side also. And then considering this, we wanted to focus more on failure and take inspiration from failure. What is failure is when we accept I cannot succeed, then only I fail. Otherwise, until I surrender, I am not a fail. So think of Edison. He tried 100 times to make a bulb, electric bulb. 100 times he failed, then only he got success. Just suppose that 99th time he accepted that he failed. He could not have made that bulb and these lights, although it is different technology, but was not possible. So success only comes when you accept failure and you take inspiration from failure. So this workshop is framed around these thoughts only. We all, actually all faculty members, when we had discussion on this, we all had different kind of thought on failure and success. So this was my opinion. Sir has given his own opinion and other opinions will come in the process. Uh, we are fortunate today to have our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, as chief guest of this program. Professor Dibakar Chandra Deka, sir, he recently joined our university on 1st of May only. Today is 8th of May, just 1 week passed. And as he was just mentioning that every day he is attending more than one seminars. Last 2 years, we were not having any seminar because of COVID, and now that barrier is gone. We know when barrier is gone, then the flood used to come, and that flood is coming, and sir is facing that flood. So thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation to be chief guest of this program. We all know him very well. You must have seen his biodata and all, but I will just do the rituals to give a brief introduction to him. Before joining us on 1st of May, he was Vice Chancellor of a university in Assam, Madhav Dev University. He joined as VC there, Vice Chancellor there in June 2019 as first Vice Chancellor, founder Vice Chancellor. And he got here appointment during his period of his tenure. And usually what happens when we get a better opportunity, we try to kick back the previous one and we try to jump to the new board. But he didn't do that. He took time. He took 2 weeks or something like that to settle the affairs in his old organization. And after settling all those things only, then he came and joined us. That's very important. Don't disown anything immediately. It is, this university I feel is brainchild of sir, and he took all care to give more time for the university. Before joining as Vice Chancellor of Madhav Dev University, he was senior most professor in the Department of Chemistry in Guwahati University, one of the oldest university in Northeast. And he is senior most professor there, oldest university, senior most professor of chemistry. Uh, he is he did his bachelor's from in the years 1979, then his master's in from Guwahati University in 1983. Then he did his MTech in 1986 and PhD in 1989, both from IIT Kharagpur. Then he did his postdoc diploma from Tokyo Institute of Technology, Japan in the year 1990. At that time, I was in class 10th. Under UNESCO Research Fellow. And then in the year 2012, he did his DSc, Doctor of Science, from Guwahati University, and he is first DSc from Guwahati University in chemistry. He is Commonwealth University Fellow in University of Manchester, UK. He is member of Research Board of Advisors, American Biographical Institute, USA. He has been awarded FRSC by the Royal Society of Chemistry, London in 2016. He has completed many major projects funded by DST, DBT, UGC, and CSIR. He has published more than 70 research papers in reputed journals at international and national level. He has guided 32 PhDs. It's a really very big number for as far as PhD is concerned, because this is a long-term program, 5-6 years it takes, especially in sciences where practicals are there. So guiding 32 PhDs is a big achievement. He is having 3 patents to his credit. His research interests are natural products, biodiesel, synthetic, organic chemistry, etc. So with this brief introduction of sir, I would like to request our one of our MCOM student, I think Miss Baby. She will be helping our head to felicitate our dean, our vice chancellor, sir. Thank you. Okay, I'll call you again. Then I will take 2-3 more minutes to introduce our guest today, Dr. Miss Atreeye Borooah Thekedath. She is from Guwahati, and I felicitate Madam. Uh, I'm choosing Dr. Professor Lalrinchhana for the purpose because he is director of incubation center, and he is having same zeal, same love for entrepreneurship what Madam is there. So yes. Last evening, Madam was asking about incubation center, something I told, and then I told that today Madina will be explaining all those things in detail if time permits. Then I would like to welcome, although Professor Jyoti Kumar is very much part of organization, this organizer. Uh, no need to welcome the organizer, but still it is a ritual to welcome him on the dais. He is senior most professor in our department and senior professor in our university. He joined our university in the year 2004, and as he joined as reader, then he got promotion as professor, then he got senior professor. Meanwhile, he is right now head, which is his third term as head of the department. He had been dean of the school earlier. Uh, I will not take more than this. Then the convener of this program, Dr. Lalnunmawii Ralte, she is a young colleague in the department. She is very dynamic. She is very active. She takes part in whatever activities we do in department. She is always instrumental, always ready to take part in that. And today, this last evening, she was telling me that she wants to sit in the audience, not on the dais. But I told no, as organizer, you have to be here. So thanks for all the work and welcome to the program. I would like to welcome all faculty members who are from other departments joining us. Professor Manoj from Library Science, Professor Tiwari from Physics, Professor Elizabeth from Social Works Department. Oh, last bench. Okay, why that far, sir? Then I welcome all of you to join us here. I welcome our own faculty members, Professor Lalrinchhana, Dr. Gurram, to join this program. Although they are organizers, they are very much part of this program. I welcome college teachers who joined us today. Zuit from Pachonga University College, Casey. I welcome all of them. I welcome the students from, I welcome Dr. Rama Swami. Madam, come forward. Dr. Rama Swami. She is Associate Professor in the Department of Commerce. I welcome all the participants, all the students who are coming from different colleges. Sir, we have invited students from colleges. We are having three major colleges in the city. Pachonga University College, our own constituent college, then Shangmana College and Aizawl College, offering BCom. So from these three colleges, we have invited students. So please, Pachonga University College, just raise hand. So these are from Pachonga University College, Shangmana College, and Government Aizawl College. Few are there. So these are any other college. We called from a Christian college also. Anyone from there? They were having some other engagement. They told that they may not be able to join us today. So I welcome all the participants from this.
Respected Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Jyoti Kumar, Professor Singh, Professor Lalrinchhana, Dr. Fanai, professors, teachers, ladies, gentlemen, and my young friends here. A very good morning to all of you. I'm delighted to be here today addressing all you young people, and especially more delighted with the theme of today's workshop, that is failure, success in progress in business. Failure is such a taboo word in our society that we seldom discuss it, failure in business or failure in anything. But here, since it's an entrepreneurial thing, we'll stick to business. It's such a taboo. We don't discuss it. We never dissect it. And as a result of which, the same failures are repeated over and over again. And we are so scared to fail that most of us don't even get started. So this workshop, the theme is very, very pertinent, and congratulations to this department to think of something like this. Now, before I start, I understand all of y'all are from the Commerce Department. Could I have a show of hands as to how many of y'all are even thinking of becoming entrepreneurs? Anybody wanting to take up entrepreneurship? No one? One hand here. That's it? So I understand the rest of you would just prefer being in a job, right? How many of you all want a regular job after you finish? Okay. That's fine. When I was your age, I didn't want to be an entrepreneur myself. Like Professor already mentioned, I wanted to work in a multinational. I think that's the dream. So many years later, nearly 2.5 decades later, things haven't changed much. When you're graduating from a business school, you want a multinational job or a good MNC job. Now, I would like to give you a little background on myself about how I finally stumbled. I would say stumbled because, like you, I didn't want to become an entrepreneur back then. So as a graduate, fresh out of business school, like they mentioned, all I wanted was a multinational job. So I gave my interviews. I got my first job in Hewlett-Packard, Singapore. And I was elated. I thought, wow, I'm like all of 23. I've got my dream job in a place like Singapore. My life is made, you know. So with that mindset, I started my job. Now, very soon into my first year, I realized that it's not such a cakewalk after all. With my personality type, I found it very difficult to not be a master of my own time, to take orders from somebody. And I decided that, no, I'm going to leave this job and I'm going to go back to Assam. And like most of us Northeasterners, we pine to be in our own, states. So I quit my job and I came back to Assam in the late 90s. At that time, a lot of people thought I was probably insane because who would leave a multinational job, that too in a place like Singapore, to come back to Assam? But I did that, and luckily my parents were supportive and they said, fine, if that's really what you want to do, you can come back. So I came back. And I think the fact that I was young, innocent, enthusiastic helped, because without thinking too long, too hard, I said, okay, I'm going to start my own company. And since I'm an engineer with a master's in information systems with working experience in a tech company, I knew it has to be something in tech. So I got a loan from a financial institution and I started a training company under my company's name, Webcom India Private Limited. I tied up with a Swiss multinational that used to impart training in web technologies. So back then I found, I knew that there was nothing there in Assam and nothing in this at this level. So I started my institute. Things were going really great. I trained a lot of people, and I was able to pay back the loan which which I had taken. But very soon that there was a dot-com bust. I think most of you are too young to this was in the early 2000s where there was a dot-com bust. So my training business dried up. I had no students. I had taken a loan which I had to repay. And you must not forget that I had quit my high-paying multinational job to become an entrepreneur. And I was back in Assam. So in this situation, the easiest thing would have been for me to go back to my family and said, can you help me out, pay my loan off, because I still had to pay the loan. But I think I had too much pride in me for that. I cannot, as a person, as people, we cannot change our external environment. It was not in my control that there was a dot-com bust. It was not in my control that IT as a career was not preferred, so students didn't want to study, do courses in tech. But what was in my control was how I reacted to the situation. So I put on my thinking cap and I said, what do I do now? Now, for this training, I had recruited people locally and I had sent them to places outside the state to get trained in the web technologies. So I already had this pool of people who were trained in web technologies. So I decided, why don't we start doing development instead of training? Let's do our own development. So with small orders from friends and relatives and small businesses, we started making websites and little software applications. So with that, that's how we started. And the people got exposure doing all these software, products, etc. And that's how we grew. This was 22 years ago. And there's been no looking, by God's grace, there's been no looking back. Today, we work with the best in the region, like they mentioned, the big Navratra companies like ONGC, Indian Oil, etc. So what I want to say is that when entrepreneurship is not a bed of roses, but when you do get started with the right sort of, y'all are very, this is the golden age of entrepreneurship, I would say. There is everybody, all the universities, the government, there's so many institutes offering whatever they can, the incubation center, there's seed fund, there are mentors speaking with you all, there are resource persons coming in. So the scenario is perfect now. It's just for you to take up the opportunity. Now, with my experience of how I started so many years ago, I take this opportunity to share some tips with you all. You may not want to be entrepreneurs right now, but in future, going forward, you may have to take up entrepreneurship. Like you all know, we are the world's most populous country. There are only so many jobs which are available. So I think entrepreneurship is a great way to, financially empower yourself. So tip number 1, sometimes the roadblocks become the greatest opportunities. The roadblock which I had of my training institute shutting down, of not being able to, being in a situation where I was struggling to pay my bank loan, I think that was an important turning point in my life. Had that not happened, I probably wouldn't have been here standing in front of you today. So remember, there is always a way. You just have to look for it. Okay. It's going to be 23 years now, like I said. Never for a day have I regretted the fact that I have quit my multinational job, come back to Guwahati and taken up entrepreneurship. Every morning, even now, I'm excited to go for work and start my day. So I think that is a great feeling for everybody, to love your job. When you love your job, it feels like you haven't worked a day in your life. Okay? Tip number 2, if you want to become an entrepreneur, find something you're very passionate about. Now, when I look around and I mentor a lot of people. I'm a part of many organizations in Assam doing that. When we, sit on the panel, jury panel, I find that a lot of people are doing, trying to do something because they have seen somebody else do it and who've been successful. So I think that is a wrong way to go about it. You have to find something that you are passionate about, not because your friend has done it and he's made a lot of money or is successful at it. You have to find something which you're passionate about. But having said that, you also need to see your environment. Is your environment ready for the product or service that you're providing? You have a great idea, you know you're passionate about it, but if your market doesn't want it, then there's no point. So you have to see two sides of the coin. You have to see whether you like to do it and whether the market wants your service or product. So you need to do your market research thoroughly before you step into anything. Now, tip number 3, being passionate you have to be, but that is not enough. You have to be perseverant. Perseverance is a very important trait in an entrepreneur. A lot of times in entrepreneurship, things don't go the way you want it to. It's full of ups and downs. So as you ride the highs of your ups, you also have to have the stomach to, suffer the lows. And when I look around, I find a lot of people, the first road bump they face, they're like, okay, this is not for me. And they quit. So the success rate of startups is very, very low because they don't try hard enough. You have to try not just one way, you have to try every way. There has to be a solution. And when I visualize perseverance, I imagine a very parched, patch of land. There's no rain, it's dry, there are cracks, and through it comes a green little sapling. So that, to my mind, is perseverance. However hard your circumstances, whatever your environment, but if you're still persisting, you will succeed. Okay. Tip number 4, very central to today's theme of the workshop: do not be afraid of failure. Our culture is such that we stigmatize failure. Children, kill themselves in like grade 10, grade 12 because they failed. I mean, I can't imagine a more ridiculous and a more sad situation to be in. But for that, we collectively, I think we Indians are too hard on failure. I'm not going to comment on the rest of the world because I know our own people, so I'm just sticking to the Indians. But I know in the West, failure is not such a stigma as it is now, which is why they have the freedom to keep trying and failing and trying again. You don't look at a failure as a failure. You look at it as a lesson. If it works, fine. But if you don't even try, how will you know if it works or not? Okay, so the only difference between the people who are successful and who are not successful are the successful ones don't try. Like he said about Edison, he tried so many times. If he had stopped at the 98th time or the 99th time, would he have invented the light bulb? No. He just keeps trying. You have to keep trying till you've explored everything. Now, all of you know Michael Jordan. He's the famous basketball player. He's an entrepreneur. You've all heard of Michael Jordan, right? Yes, okay. So he said once, and I quote, "I have missed 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times I have been trusted to take the winning shot, and I have failed. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." In my case, if I had felt sorry for myself and I'm like, oh, I'm so embarrassed, I'm not going to do it anymore, I would have been just somebody working somewhere in a job. Okay. I'm not saying that is bad. I'm saying that is not me. I would have been working, but I would have felt like I would have been working. Today, I don't feel like I've been working. I feel, I just feel good of doing what I do. I think that is important. Now, tip number 5, a lot of you young people here. So when we are young, we don't value time that much as you value as you get older. Be mindful of the time. Time waits for no one. I know as young people, a lot of things to do, a lot of distractions, but find little time for yourself. Time to learn. You have to be curious. In today's, till now, all of you have heard of ChatGPT, right? Everybody's heard of ChatGPT. So till now, we were like, okay, robots, automation, all of that, fine. It never threatened any white-collar job. Last November, when ChatGPT was launched, it's been a few months, 4-5 months now, and see, the entire world is talking about it. All the, there are a lot of predictions about what jobs are going to go away and all of that. So even I have been in the tech sector for 23 years. Even people like me, I don't know what the future holds. But what I can do is I can keep looking around. I can keep learning. Please subscribe to, social channels like LinkedIn. I think that is a great learning. All of you are on LinkedIn? Everybody is on LinkedIn? Yes? Okay. So on platforms like LinkedIn, you can see the world's best minds sharing thoughts on different things. So I suggest please be aware, especially with AI and the tools which are now being developed. Those, as entrepreneurs, I look at them not as a threat, I look at them as productivity tools. I know that now, and sometimes I see my coders busy on ChatGPT. So I'm like, what you doing? They're like, no, we are stuck in this thing. We've given ChatGPT the code. It's come up with the right code. We're just going to paste it. So the productivity is going to go up if we know how to use it well. So it's up to you. Instead of being threatened by this, use these as a tool to do your base work and then, enhance the human levels of empathy and the human levels of creativity can never be matched by artificial intelligence. But you all cannot be, you're with your head in the sand. You have to be aware, reading, because it's changing too fast for anybody to, unless you keep abreast of what is happening, you will fall by the wayside. Now, I know only a couple of people showed their hands when I said about being an entrepreneur. But having said that, sometime in the future, if you do want to be an entrepreneur, to build a sustainable organization, you need to manage cash flows. Probably too early in the day to tell you about cash flows, but then I think you have some 36 incubators here. When you get funded, fine. But a lot of times startups are unable to sustain because they don't know how to manage the cash flows. So keep that in mind. You have to be perseverant, you have to be passionate, and you need to know your numbers. Because if you don't know your numbers, you may have a great product, great service, great everything. But if you are dependent on someone else to tell you, about how your business is doing financially, you will not be able to take the right decisions. So be aware of your financials. Now, this is something from my own experience. Another important tip, not only as entrepreneurs, but in your careers, is the power of networking. Along with your work, please find the time to join organizations, national level organizations. It's only when you meet, work, interact with people across the country, across the globe, will our mindsets grow. We'll get new ideas of what people are doing, how are they doing things, we learn. If we are just going to do what we do in our own place, we will not grow. So the thing to network is very, very important. So please find the time, volunteer. When I was around your age and I started my business, I decided I'm going to join a national organization. That was the only one which was accessible to me then. I joined the CII. Okay? So through CII, I met many people across the world. I used to volunteer my time. In my spare time, I would go do some volunteering, and also because I'm passionate about doing something for society in whatever little way I can. So it's something I've consistently done. So once I did that, that just opened the doors to a whole lot of things. I met people. I saw what people are doing around the world. I learned a lot. And I would attribute this as sometimes the benefits are not so tangible. You don't see the benefits and like, oh, Lord, what's the point? But it's not there. Somewhere, you'll have these intangible benefits. So then I got noticed by this US State Department. And I got selected for the US, one of those, in one of the interactions, somebody from the White House had come and I was there and we interacted. And she went back and she recommended my name. So I'm the only person till date to be mentored by the Global Fortune US Department State program, mentoring program. This was in 2012. It's been 11 years. And, it's been a wonderful. And this opportunity catapulted me from Guwahati, and I was in Ginny Rometty's office in New York, Armonk. You know who Ginny Rometty is? Okay, she is the first female CEO of IBM. IBM you've all heard of, right? IBM Corporation in 100 years. So, had I not joined any national organization, had I just continued to do my entrepreneurship, I would have been successful. But that's beside the point. Besides your business, I have been able to grow as a person because of this, other organizations beyond my own. So please take this opportunity, more so because we are in a little geographically removed from the rest of the country. It's more important for us to move out of our comfort zone and network with national organizations. So I think I've given a lot of gyan. I'll just have a little more to say, and I would like to take this, opportunity of hearing a bit from the students as well. If they have any questions, I'm happy to take them after the session. Yeah. Now, the other thing is the startups. So the difference between a startup and a traditional business is that the growth of a startup is exponential. In startups, you're not really concerned about whether you're making a loss or, you get funded and you grow. It's how much you've grown. So that is a little different from a traditional business where we keep a very strict eye on the cash flows and the profits and all of that. But to be a sustainable startup, while you are funded, it's fine. But first round, second round, if you don't get funded in your future rounds, quite often you see that the startup is not able to sustain. So my advice is that while you're being funded, while you're in your initial rounds, please take the opportunity to understand your business in depth, know the fundamentals, know how it works, how the cash flows work, etc. So if you know that, then it's easier to sustain. Starting a business is not the point. Sustaining is the key. Okay. So with all of that, I hope some of you will take up entrepreneurship somewhere down the line. The ones who are wanting to be entrepreneurs, I wish you all the very best. And thank you so much for this. Thank you.
That's really wonderful and a true curtain raiser. And we consider it as a keynote address also. And so after this brief inaugural session, Madam will take the first session, and then you will get a chance to interact with her. And as suggested by her, you can pose some of your doubts or questions, or you can share your ideas also. And I don't want to stand between you and our beloved Vice Chancellor. Sir, now it is your time, and we are curious to listen to you, sir.
Namaskar and good morning. Respected Chairperson, Professor Jyoti Kumar on the dais, Dean Semis, Professor Bhartendu Singh, our esteemed guest of honor, Ms. Atreeye Borooah Thekedath, Dr. Hanai in the dais, respected colleagues from Mizoram University, other invitees, and our dear students from Mizoram University as well as from constituent and affiliated colleges. Well, all of us, or say mainly you, are here to discuss a very interesting topic, failure in business. You are from commerce, most of you. You will be discussing your own perspective or views in this regard. And I would love to hear all of you if possible. But I am not from commerce. I am from chemistry. I know very little in business. But still, I have my own views, perspective, from my experience, not only in business, related to business, but also personal life. Failure can be in commerce, business, failure can be in personal life. So let me share my views. I would love to share with young students because there's a lot of things to learn from experience. You have not even started your life, and we have gone a long way in our life. So if you can learn something from me or your senior professor, it will be wonderful. So in that view only, let me share my views. What is failure in business or commerce or in personal life? Failure has two things to deal with. My views, my perspective. One is, what is the reasons of failure and what is the consequences? What are the consequences? So consequences and reasons. These two things we have to take care of if we have to move on our life. I have failed. Why I have failed? That is the reasons. I have to know. I have to analyze. Then secondly, if I fail in my personal life or in my business, what are the consequences? That is the thing. So let me first come quickly, consequences. Consequences maybe I divide into two ways. And that is, that will depend on your personal attitude. Say, for example, I have failed, my personal life or in my business. I have worked hard, I have planned everything. I have devoted myself in the business or any goal I want to achieve, maybe in study even. I have devoted my time, I have worked hard, I have planned. Still, failure may be for unforeseen reason. Okay, if it is for unforeseen reason, then what will be the consequences? That will depend on your attitude. You have done everything, you have made effort, but COVID, nobody thought of COVID coming. It came, your business failed. I could not attend the classes, so my study suffered. So in that case, what will be the consequences? It will depend on my attitude. So that attitude can be positive or negative. If your attitude is positive, say in business, I have a startup, all of a sudden COVID came, my startup failed. Or for some other unforeseen reason, it failed. Then my attitude is positive. What I will do? I will learn from my failures. I will use my failure as a stepping stone to achieve bigger, larger achievement. This year I fail in my business. But if my attitude is positive, what I'll do? I will use my failure as a stepping stone to achieve larger achievement, larger goal. This time I failed. My next time will be my ambition, my goal will be larger, bigger. And I'll use my experience as a stepping stone to achieve my larger goal. That is your positive attitude. On the other hand, if my attitude is negative, I have failed. I will never get up, fight. I will not I cannot convert challenges to opportunities. Then what will happen? I will be in depression. I may even commit suicide. That is the end of life. So, positive attitude is always important, whether it is business or personal life. We have to move forward. We have to live first. Then success, failure comes later. If I am living, then only success, failure will come in life. But if I don't want to live, then what is the use of talking about failure or success? End of life means everything ends. There is no success, no failure at the end of the life. So your positive attitude is very important everywhere. Personal life, business, or whatever. We have to live first. We have to use our experiences, failures as a stepping stone. And then we can achieve bigger dreams, larger dreams. Then I think I don't see much more than that, whatever I have said in consequences. That to be only two things. I move forward with bigger dreams or I fail. That's the end of life. Secondly, what may be the reasons? How do I see? What is the reason of failure? Two things is that I work hard, I plan, then I dedicate myself, so I use my resources. Certainly, if not today, tomorrow, then day after tomorrow, my success will come. But sometimes what happens, particularly in startup, business, anywhere, our lack of dedication, lack of hard work, we are ourselves responsible for failure. How can it happen? In a smaller way, I am telling, it's a bigger issue. There may be many factors, but I am telling one factor. Suppose I take a loan from a bank. I want to start up. Then, apart from my devotion, my planning, my hard work, I have to invest whatever loan I have taken amount, I should fully devote to my business. But if not doing that, okay, I have got 1 crore of loan. Let us spend some 10 lakhs in buying a luxury car. Okay, first let me have a luxury car before going to business. Only 10 lakh, 10%. Okay, spending in my luxury car, which is not part of the business. Let me have a big flat, luxury flat, maybe only say 50 lakhs. Okay, out of the loan, and rest I will spend in business. That will be beginning of your failure. Your money is supposed to be invested in your startup business, but instead of what you are doing, you are spending elsewhere. You are diverting money to other direction. Then failure is obvious. I am responsible for my failure. So that is not supposed to be done. I don't know much about Kingfisher, but we have experience. When we were in university, Kingfisher started business. I don't know actual reason of failure. You know better than me, but let me say few lines in this regard. How do I think very quickly without going deep into the subject or without going deep into the business of Kingfisher? It may be reason like that. Kingfisher started in a big way. In domestic flights, I went 1 or 2 flights. from Guwahati to Dibrugarh, only 45 minutes flight. Very luxurious aircraft, Airbus with TV panel, with a music system, everything. 40 minutes flight, why do you need music system? Why do you need a TV channel? In a 40 minutes, coming from Guwahati to Mizoram, 40 minutes flight, why do you need a TV channel or music system? Are they not luxury? So Kingfisher might have spent such lot of things, unnecessary things. In a startup, Kingfisher was starting business. That is one reason. See, on the other hand, Indigo, how they are flourishing. Okay, because it is a domestic flight. International flight, 10, 15 hours, 6, 7 hours is a different issue. You need everything there for the satisfaction of the customer. But in domestic flight, why do you need all these things? So, Kingfisher might have spent a lot of money at the very beginning into luxury. That may be one reason. Another reason, I don't know exactly, he is also a liquor baron. He must have diverted his money to his liquor business instead of spending in the airlines. Must have diverted. So, this may be some of the reasons that why we fail in business or in startup. First thing, you have to devote. Devotion is very important. Hard work and your goal. I want to achieve the goal. First. Then comfort, luxury will come later on. So, anyway, friends, this is my small perspective as a person of chemistry. Okay, not in commerce. If you can learn, if you take up this is from my observation, views, all these things. I'm happy to share with all of you. Thank you so much. Wish you a grand success in your deliberation, discussion, failure in business. Be successful always after discussing. Discussing failure is important. Discussing success is not. I have become Vice Chancellor, it is my success. I don't want to discuss that. That's not important. I am looking forward next 5 years. What can I contribute to the University of Mizoram? Is everything fine here? If everything fine here is fine, but whether I can add a more feeder to the cap of Mizoram, that will be my looking forward. Okay, so that is the probably my vision, my views on failure or success in business or personal life. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. It is difficult to believe that you are not at all related to commerce because this is not less than any keynote address to be delivered by any professor of commerce actually. And though as a commerce faculty, we use entrepreneurship in relation to business organizations, and the broad meaning of entrepreneur is a risk taker, an innovator, a person who could see an opportunity in the crisis situation. So we need entrepreneurs not only in businesses, we need entrepreneurs in every sphere of life who could see an opportunity in crisis situation, who could make some introspection out of failures, and who could learn some lessons from failures. So we are fortunate to have Professor Deka as our leader and who has entrepreneurial zeal. And I'm very much confident, Department of Commerce is very much confident that we are in the right hands. MZU is in the right hands. Thank you very much, sir, and for your presence here and for your inspirational words for our young students. And so once again, I thank both the speakers. And now I request my colleague, Dr. Fanai, to propose formal vote of thanks.
Our chief guest, Professor Dibakar Chandra Deka, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mizoram University. Guest of honor, Ms. Atreeye Borooah Thekedath, Director, Webcom, India Private Limited, Guwahati. Professor Bhartendu Singh, Dean of Dean, School of Economics and Management, School of Economics, Management and Information Sciences, Senior Professor NVR Jyoti Kumar, Head Department of Commerce, and the Chairman of the present function, and all the resource person, my dear colleagues and students and all participants. I would like to give you a special greetings on behalf of the Department of Commerce, Mizoram University. Being the convener of the workshop, it is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. Firstly, we want to thank to Mizoram University, a central university, for funding us and for sponsoring our workshop today. And our chief guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Dibakar Chandra Deka, sir, you make our day a grand success. We thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be a chief guest for our workshop. I express my deepest gratitude to you, sir. Thank you so much. And I would like to express my sincere thanks to our guest of honor, Ms. Atreeye Borooah Thekedath. Ma'am, you humbly accepted our invitation to be a guest of honor and one of the main resource person for today's program. Your presence today in this function immensely enhances its importance, and we are very, very grateful to you. So I also want to express our thanks to our Dean, Professor Bhartendu Singh, SEMIS, for his support and guidance all the times, and whatever work that I assign, even though he is Dean, he has done everything on behalf of the department because he is very humble person. So we admire him and we thank you so much for all his contribution. And I also want to say thanks to the college principal and head of the department from the college, like Pachung University College and Govt Rangbana College, who have sent their student today to attend their workshop at our workshop. And we are also very thankful to head and faculty from various departments who have come to witness our workshop today. So we also want to express our thanks to Head Department of Education for giving us a permission to utilize their conference hall. We also want to say thanks to our Head of Department, Professor Jyoti Kumar, for his guidance and advice all throughout the preparation and his chairmanship for today's program. So I'm very much thankful to Professor Lildin Liana, Director, Incubation Center, Mizoram University, for giving us an ideas from the beginning. He is the one who has done all the ideas, who has contributed the ideas, and the one who has done all this kind of program. So I want to give a special credit to him, because without him we cannot make this kind of program. He is he has a very brilliant thought, and because of that we can make it successful. So we want to give thanks to him. And so I'm very happy to express a vote of thanks to our staff who help us a lot, and our research scholars and all the people and ushers and PR cell also for who made it success. So we thank you so much to you all. And finally, I want to say thanks to the wonderful student who turned up today. We thank you so much for your cooperation. We hope that we'll continue to receive your cooperation even tomorrow. Thanks for your presence and coming. So I hope that all the participants will find it beneficial for this workshop. So thank you so much. And right after this, after the chief guest and other people left, and our Miss Atreeye will continue to take class. So please remain here, and then all the refreshment will be served inside. Okay, so this is what I want to make the announcement. Thank you.